Hey everybody, it's Evan from devexcend.com, and in this video we're going to learn how to use JavaScript. Now before this video begins, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below or join the devexcend Discord server and I'm sure someone will be able to help you out there. With that said, let's get started. So first and foremost, I'm using Visual Studio Code for this tutorial. You can use whatever editor you feel comfortable with. I've also created an empty folder with a index.html file in it. So if you don't already have a folder with an index.html file in it, please go ahead and create one if you wish to follow along. And I'm going to just create a basic HTML file. Now you can type this out if you want. However, I'm going to use a feature available in VS Code called emit. So all I have to do is type in HTML and I'm going to go to :5. And it creates a nice little boilerplate for us. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a script tag into our body tag. So I'm going to type script and I'm going to include a JavaScript file. I'm going to call this JavaScript file tutorial.js. You can name it whatever you want. Now we don't actually have a tutorial.js file created yet, so we're going to do that right now. So I'm going to go into our folder, hit new file, tutorial.js, and now we have a tutorial.js file. Again, whatever you named it is what you're going to see. Just make sure that the source is set to whatever the name of the file is that you had it set to. Now to make sure that this works, I'm going to install an extension on VS Code called Live Server. I'm going to use this to host a localhost server on my computer. And the reason that I do this is so that we can have a console log we can look at to test all our JavaScript to make sure everything that we code works fine. So if you don't already have this installed, go ahead and click install. I already have this installed, so I am not going to do that. And then I'm going to go to our tutorial.js file and I'm going to type console.log hello world. And I'll explain what this is in just a second, but let's just go ahead and hit save. And then once you install the live server extension for VS Code, you're going to want to go down to the bottom right of VS Code and you're going to want to click on this thing here that says go live. You'll see that it says starting and then port 5500. It might be different for you, but I believe this is the default port. Then once you do that, it's going to open up a browser window for you and then go ahead and right click and hit inspect. And then it'll bring up the developer tools. Now, if you don't see the console here, you might see some code. Just go up to the top and click console, and then you should see your console right here. So now if we go to our code, I'm going to go over what exactly we just did here. So basically what console.log does is we're telling JavaScript that we want to log whatever we pass into these two parentheses right here. So for example, right now we're passing in a string. However, if we wanted to pass in, let's say, a number like 50, save, and you'll notice in the console that you see 50. And now if we change it back to hello world, you'll see that it now shows hello world in the console. So console log is very useful for debugging our code, and I'm going to show more examples of that in the later videos. Now, one thing you'll notice at the end here is that it ends in a semicolon. Now in JavaScript, we use a semicolon to tell JavaScript that this is the end of our statement. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is comments. So there's a notation we can use in JavaScript, which is 2 forward slashes, and we can say this is a comment. Now JavaScript will actually ignore this line right here because it is started with 2 forward slashes. Now comments are useful for if, say, another developer is looking at your code, you can explain why you wrote that code, and it helps the other developer better understand what exactly your code's purpose is. It's a very good practice to keep everything in your code organized, and you should make a habit out of making comments wherever necessary. Anyway, that's all for this video. In the next video, we're going to go over variables. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And if you want further help, you can always join the devexcend Discord server, and I'm sure someone will be able to help you out there. But in any case, that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.